Hey everyone! We're going to have another short pondering video today. These videos are very off the cuff and not as heavily edited or scripted. I got good feedback on the last video, so I figured we would make this a regular thing. Today we are going to discuss the topic of DM restrictions. This is a topic I myself have had a hard time understanding, but I've had a lot of experience in dealing with. So what do I mean by DM restrictions? Well, the thing I'm referring to is the restrictions that DMs put on their games, worlds, players, and most importantly, their stories. If you're a player who doesn't have a regular DM or who often likes to play around with different groups, you may already be very familiar with this concept. I know if I go on Roll20 right now, I can find a game in 2 seconds which shows you exactly this thing. One shot. Only core books. No warlocks. Players can't use the bow. The backstory must be only those of sea adventurers, and etc. Now, I may come off a bit judgmental when I speak about these things, but let me assure you I get the value of some of these things. Just, I take issue with the others. It makes sense to me that when you're creating a game and as a DM you want to control certain elements of your world and story. Something like metagaming is discouraged is practical. It lets your players know your view on the game, and it lets them know that you want the game played in a certain way. Other things, such as players must use voices, and so on. Yes, they help your players know the way they should play in the game, and how they should act when situations arise that demand these rules be followed. These are not my issue. The issue I find with DMs and their restrictions comes from the things that close down, box off, and streamline the story as well as the player's characters. And to the DMs who have these rules, let me tell you, as both a player and a DM, I can tell you that if someone wants to play their way bad enough, they won't heed these warnings. What they will do is hide their intentions until their moments present themselves. You may want a hero's game, one with players who do good, are kind, and help others. But if there's a player who wants to be a secret evil spy against the good rulers and be the bad guy, well then he'll just play along until one day he decides to turn and ruin the game. You can say you'll kick them out the first time something happens, but you accept this first transgression and then eventually he'll do something that either ruins the game for everyone or makes you remove him and thus hurts the story that your players were having. This is why I choose to never use these kinds of restrictions. I think that while rules like no yelling at other players or not metagaming can help structure the game, restrictions such as the ones discussed can ultimately close off the stories you could have told to the point that the story you tell is one that you only really enjoy. The things I take gripe with are these things like know this book, know this race, know this class. Ultimately, I find it comes down to the fear of not knowing a ruling, the annoyance of accommodating for a particular situation, or the want to have to deal with continuity hiccups. Ultimately, we aren't writing a book here, guys. The players and the DM should be coming to the table with the want to have fun. This is a hobby, and if someone wants to be a Goliath in a town of all humans, why the hell not? I think that a lot of DMs say that we should follow the rule of yes and, but if you think that these restrictions are not telling a player no, then you're being a bit ignorant if I have to say so. You can say no to your players, and yes, and is not the first rule of the DM's handbook, but I challenge you to let the rules fly. I know I had a lot better experience DMing myself when I let my players do what they like, and my players share the same view. And hey, if you don't want a certain thing, well, just don't pick those players. I'm kidding. But I mean, I'm also serious in a sense. Ultimately, the hurdle with getting people who follow your playstyle won't be fixed with restrictions. It'll be fixed by picking better players who fit that adventure. The only trouble will be identifying the fakers from the genuine players. Well, I'm sorry to unload all that, but I think that was a long time coming. As a huge fan of playing that evil spy or that Goliath among humans, I sympathize with those people who never get to play their ideas out. Well, as always, I hope this was at least an entertaining video if nothing else. But if you have been dealing with this issue and have something to add to the conversation, or you're one of these DM restrictors, please comment below. I'd love to discuss this further. If you have a specific topic you'd like for me to discuss, then leave a comment below and I'll consider speaking my opinions on it in the future. Have a wonderful day, and please subscribe if you want to see more content. Thank you.